Oh boy. Somebody doesn't want me over there.
Hello. Hi, friends, and welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. We are your hosts. This is Megan.
And this is Amy. Thanks for joining us again. This week, Megan is recapping the Dead Files episode called Deadly Reflections. It's from season 9 and is episode 2, and it originally aired February 10th, 2018.
So I chose this, a super scientific method. I asked Siri and she gave me 9 and 2. And so that's how I did it. So
Perfect.
Yay for me.
Perfect.
What's new? Well, our camper.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me about the camper.
So some of you, I don't remember if I've talked about on the show. I probably have, but I have Dory, so I don't remember. So my husband and I bought a pop-up camper off Facebook, and we went over there and we inspected it, popped it up. Everything looked good. I asked the seller, is there any floor damage, like water damage, anything like that? And he said, nope. So we get it and we go to pop it up the first time and it just completely breaks. And so I had thought that I had unlatched all the latches holding it down, but there was one still there. And so we took it in and they got back to us and they told us that it would be 2 weeks, which fine. Like it's peak camper season, people are getting their shit fixed. He quoted us $200 to get it fixed. Yeah, which was not great, but whatever, we kind of come to terms with it. Then he calls us on Thursday, or John called him. The entire floor is rotted with water damage.
Oh no.
The reason it didn't open is because the cables, like the lift mechanism fell off their cable and it came up through the floor because the floor was so rotted from water damage. It's going to be $5,200 just to fix that. But the guy told us, because I called him afterwards because John had texted me and told me this, and I called him to get more details because John tends to be very reactive, which in this case, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
So I called to get more details. And the guy who looked at it said, this $5,200 is a Band-Aid. He said the entire floor needs to be replaced because it's so damaged from water damage. He said it would be a minimum of $8,000. And then I asked him, I said, okay, honestly, I said, should we even put the money in to fix this? And he goes, I would not. He said, it's not worth it. Mm-mm. Because by the time we put the $8,000 in to fix it, we'll be at $15,000 for this thing. And we could have bought a brand new camper at that point.
Yeah.
So we're shot. This summer's shot. John is going to try because the guy told him the parts for it are under $1,000. So, and John's pretty handy. He can do a lot if, he's really good at learning how to fix things if he doesn't know it. And so what we think we're going to do is next summer, we're going to just try to fix it ourselves. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We fucking break it more. We can't use it at this point.
Yeah. And there's no recourse of going back to the guy you bought it from.
Oh, we tried. Oh. Yeah. And we don't think he sold it to us intentionally like this. I honestly don't. But, he won't take it back. So
that tells me he did know, because if he didn't know, he would feel really bad and he would take it back. Right. I would think. And
John even asked him, okay, if you don't want to give us the full $7,000, give us something. You essentially sold us a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I won't.
Yeah.
So
he probably knew.
It just ticks me off because, I was so excited for this. I was so excited to go camping and John isn't against it yet. He's pissed off about it, obviously, 'cause it's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But, the way he made it sound is we'll do something and we will go camping. So that's good because it's a fun way to, to take vacations with our son, mm-hmm. not spend a ton of money. Mm-hmm. I mean, to rent a campsite, it's like $60, $70, mm-hmm. a night. Mm-hmm. Versus flying somewhere or driving somewhere $300 a night for hotel,
Yeah.
go out to dinner, souvenirs, activities, all of that. So that was really just disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday I just was like crying pretty much all day because I was just devastated. I was so looking forward to this. My best friend camps. We were going to meet up with her and her family. It was just a shitty day on Thursday. It was just a really shitty day. And
that sucks.
But you know what? It's okay. Because we have a house. This is just an extra thing. It's not like our house flooded and we have nowhere to live.
Right.
So in the scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. It sucks, but
yeah. But you still have every right to be upset about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does really suck, and that's the risk and even the sellers, like, that's the risk you take when you go through Facebook, and it's like, okay, yeah, but I asked you if there was floor damage and you specifically told me no.
Mm-hmm.
So you either lied to get $7,000 or, you didn't know. And I'd like to believe you didn't know, but people suck. So let's be honest. People fucking suck.
The fact that he's not making it right tells me he's either a complete asshole who didn't know or a complete asshole who did know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, he's a dick.
Yeah. So it just, and even, John is like, if this was me, he's like, I would be trying to do something to make it right with them.
Yes.
And John is like, just get something like 3,000, 2,000, anything, anything. And the guy's like, nope. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
In other news, I did sign up for another craft fair.
Oh, yeah.
So our patron, Amy, she works with Wildlife Center out in Stacy, Minnesota, and they have a fall craft fair that I signed up for. So I'm really excited. It'll be October 1st. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to do that. Hopefully I can get enough merchandise now to sell. Like I said before, if people buy one pair of earrings, I'll consider it a success.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll sell at least that.
I hope, because, but this will be the first show I did. The other one, I got horrendously sick. Right. And we'll see. If I don't sell anything, then I probably, if I don't sell a lot, then I probably won't do it again. But at least I'll know.
It'll be something fun to do.
Yeah. And my best friend is coming up to do it with me.
Oh, good.
So she'll be there so I can take bathroom breaks and stuff.
Good.
Yeah. Which, I'll get to spend it with her. So anytime I get to hang out with my bestie is a good day.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
What's new in your world now that I've totally dominated the conversation?
No, that's okay. Speaking of besties, I told you that I commented on Amy Ellen's Instagram post that I liked her hair because she dyed it bright red.
It's gorgeous. It's
really pretty.
And in this episode, it was kind of tinged with purple.
Oh.
She can do literally no wrong.
I know. She has great colors in her hair.
I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, so I commented, I love the hair. I can't wait for the new season. And she liked my comment. So
I know
we're like
you're basically best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. She'll be on the show soon. I know it.
I know it. That reminds me, I have not heard back from the homeowner from the last episode, and maybe I won't. I don't know.
It's okay if we don't.
It's okay.
I mean,
it would
he's got his own
fun
life.
to have him or his wife or his kids or anybody on would be fun. But that, there's no time limit. We could do it a year from now. I don't care.
Yeah.
People are finding our YouTube channel. We haven't gotten a lot of new subscribers, but we have gotten a lot of new views.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think my mother-in-law, did she find us on YouTube? I think she did. She and her husband had started watching us from the beginning.
Oh, good.
So I think they were probably one of them.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the metrics today, or the analytics.
Analytics.
I don't have words.
It's a tough word.
And it said your channel got 100 views in the last 28 days, and that is 178% more than the previous 28 days. So,
yay, but also that's kind of a slap in the face.
It's a little pathetic, but but we're on the upward swing, right?
It's hard to go down from that. we can't have people take back their views. So
no. Thank God that's not possible. Yeah.
YouTube sends us a message like, just stop. You're done. People are taking back their views now. That's exciting.
It is. It's kind of fun. Well, so then that's even giving getting more fire under my ass to finish the rest of them.
Mhm.
And I am doing right now, today I was editing the one from last week. So
Okay.
I'm caught up, except that in the beginning, when we started this, I did not edit and post the video versions, the
Mhm.
Zoom versions.
Right.
So
right.
episodes 1 through 10 don't have Zoom
Yeah.
versions, but I have the Zoom recordings.
Mhm.
So I can go back and edit those and put those up. But that's going to be on my free time. So
Okay. Whenever that is.
whenever that
What's
is.
that?
Yeah.
Free time? I don't know what that means.
Well, now that I'm not training anymore for
Okay.
this job, I mean, I still am kind of, but I'm not going in every
Yeah.
day, sitting there for 4 hours. So I will have a little
Is it
bit
here?
more.
Were you training in the cities?
Oh, yeah. It's right.
Yeah.
It's real close to my house, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like a 5-minute drive, 7 minutes
Oh.
maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's really
That's
nice.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Sweet
And-
gigs.
And I found it's in a mall. The office is in a little mall.
Oh, that's dangerous.
And I was looking for a groomer for Vivi, the
yeah.
Yorkie,
Yeah.
because we had a groomer and
Huh?
she just stopped answering my texts and emails. So I don't know what happened to her. Hope she's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I couldn't make an appointment for Viv. So
She looking a little scraggly.
she's looking funny because her hair is growing all around her eyes and I can't see her eyeballs anymore.
It's like, Mom, she's very emo now.
Yeah.
She's like,
Flipping her bangs.
God,
Her
Mom.
bangs stick out like this everywhere. I'd grab her, but I told Greg to keep her upstairs because she was such a pain in the ass last time.
what? I hardly remember.
You know what?
She
When I
was rough.
edited the audio version of the last one,
Yeah.
I had a little creative freedom
Uh-huh.
when you were singing your song and I was up looking for her
Uh-huh.
and I was like, Vivi, where are you? And then you'd go, where is Vivi? Amy can't find Vivi. And so I kind of like altered it so that it sounded like a song, like me saying and you chanting back.
Send it to me. Did you
It's
send
in the it's
Is
in the yeah.
I
it's
just
in the
haven't gotten
episode.
there yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in the episode. So yeah, I was having fun with that. I was gonna just cut the whole thing, but then your song was so funny that I just kept it off. And then I kept laughing when I was listening to it too, because Vivi's little noises. made me laugh.
Every time you talked.
She'd be quiet, and I'd be like, "Okay," and then I'd start.
That was the funniest part. Is
I
it's
know.
like she knew you were
Yeah.
trying to talk.
Okay, so the other piece of business, I noticed today when I was looking at the stats in
Uh-huh.
our host that 50% of our listeners listen on Spotify.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I just want people to know, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Spotify, but I just want people to know that and you probably will hear ads during our episodes because Spotify throws them in.
Yeah, they do.
We do not get paid for those ads. And we do not have any control over those
No.
ads. So
We're not putting those in there.
right.
So don't get mad at us.
We do not put any ads in as of yet, as of episode 30. We do not have ads. So if you hear ads when you're listening to us, we didn't do that. Somebody
Mhm.
else did it. And it might be for something we don't like or
Support.
don't condone or support. Yeah.
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind. Because I know True Crime and Cocktails, Lauren Ash and
Mhm.
Christy Oxborough's show. Lauren mentioned in one of the patron happy hours that people were leaving the Patreon
Yeah.
and complaining that there were ads in their episodes for things that they didn't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren's like, we don't have ads. So
Yeah.
you're listening to somewhere that puts ads in
Mm-hmm.
and we have no control over that.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that listeners don't think that we're putting in anything and that it's like what we stand for or anything like that, because it might not be. It might be, but it might not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
And the only kind of ad type thing we've ever put in is exchanging
podcasts.
promos with
Yep.
other podcasts. Yep.
And those we do support.
Those we do support. Yes, yes. And I just realized I didn't pick one for this week. So I will stick one in, but I guess I don't know which one it's going to be yet. It'll be one we haven't
It'll be a
promoted much.
surprise.
Surprise for all of us.
Everybody.
All
Surprise
of us.
for you and a surprise for
And
you.
you get a surprise and you get
And
a
you get a surprise.
All right. I just wanted to mention that we were going to go see a psychic like, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months
Oh my
ago, whatever
God.
that was.
It was, yeah.
And she had to cancel like the
Mhm.
last minute, like literally.
Like the morning of, I think, because her father got sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Dad was in the hospital.
Should
And I
have
said
seen
to
that
Greg,
coming.
she should have saw that coming. Anyway,
Just teasing to all you
I
psychics
hope her
out
dad's
there.
okay. I think
Yeah.
he is. But
Yeah.
so we're going to reschedule that. And
We
have
need
it.
to.
We
I
don't
know
have it
Amy
scheduled
keeps
yet, but
sending messages and I'm the worst because I'm not replying. And Amy's probably like cursing me. Other Amy, not podcast Amy.
Yeah.
And not Amy Ellen.
No,
friend
there's
Amy.
so many Amy's. Yeah.
There's so many.
This
It's
is
such a good name.
Patron Amy.
Yeah, patron Amy. So she's probably cursing me, like, fucking get back to me. I'm sorry, Amy.
I haven't either. I haven't answered because I'm usually like I'm on the go and I see her
Yeah.
email and I don't have my calendar in front of me. I know it's
Right.
on my phone, but I can't like see the whole month, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the worst part is I've been texting her on Snapchat, which she knows. So she's like, she's probably like, you fucking bitch. I'm sorry, Amy.
I doubt she's thinking that.
I know
nice girl.
she wouldn't. And if she was, she'd call me out. She'd be like, are you going to answer my text or what?
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, Amy.
I apologize too, Amy. We'll get back to you as soon as we can get our shit together.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe not then, because I don't know if my shit will ever be together. We'll be
well, sort of together.
2030, and Amy will be like, for the love of God, are we going to see Jenny? Psychic.
And we're all 90.
We're We're in the nursing home.
Oh, okay.
Good times.
So another thing I wanted to mention is, you know how we always ask you guys to, if you want to be in their group chat on Instagram, to message me and let me know. Mm-hmm. I just want to say, if you're going to do that, please, in the message that you send, say, hi, I'm Joe, and I want to be in your group chat. I like your podcast, whatever. Because I get messages all the time that are just, hello. And usually when it starts out like that, it's either a bot or it's somebody trying to sell you something or get money out of you somehow. So I ignore all of those. So if hopefully none of those people or none of those messages I've gotten like that are people that are actually genuinely humans and want to be in our group. If you are and you've done that, sorry, just go back and send another message and say who you are and what you want, and then I'll add you. Okay, I think I'm up to date anyway. I think we're up to date. So, content warning.
There is a content warning of suicide mentioned both in the history and during the walk. So Amy mentions that somebody is suicidal in the walk. All right, let's get into it. You guys, this episode, I sobbed. Like, it was a really, really good one.
You know what? I have to tell you, I sort of told you earlier, but when I was reading your notes, I was like, this doesn't sound familiar. And I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds creepy. And I didn't read every single thing you wrote. I just kind of scanned it, but then I got to the bottom and I was like, oh my God, I remember this one now.
It was so good.
This is one that I think I talked about this in one of our earlier episodes that I was thinking about covering this, but I was afraid it was going to be too sad.
Oh yeah.
Because I bawled my eyes out.
Yeah. 100. Yeah. I'm
during
texting
this episode.
I texted Amy. Well, first when I started doing it, I started at night on Friday because I was trying to be ahead of the time and I had to stop because I was getting too scared. So then I put on some Hallmark movies and then I finished it last night and I'm texting Amy. I'm like, I am sobbing.
Yeah.
Like it was so emotional.
It was
okay.
Very.
So we're in Waxahachie, Texas. And I actually had to write out the pronunciation of it because it's Waxahachie. But they say it Waxahachie, I think.
Oh, they don't say the sound?
I didn't think they did. At least when I wrote it, I wrote Waxahachie. So if they do it, I'm really sorry. I've already fucked it up. We're 30 seconds. We're not even a sentence into my portion. So we're with Steve and Kim, who's the homeowner, and Kim thinks whatever is in the house killed her husband. Her daughter's moving back in, and Kim is like worried that it'll kill her too. So she called the team in to see like, can she even go into can her daughter come back in? Like, is it safe for her? So her husband, Angel, died of a malignant brain tumor at 45. And before moving into the house, he was perfectly healthy. Steve asks if when the experience started, and Kim says they started right away, but doesn't go into detail on what happened. They just kind of are talking about about, what's kind of what has been happening, but not in terms of experiences, just kind of, background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve asked if they'd done anything to, try to fix the experiences. And Kim said they had a team of paranormal investigators come to the house and do a blessing. She said after they did that, the atmosphere felt lighter, but it didn't last very long. So Steve asks her if she knows any history of the house. And she said a little bit. She said it was built in 1915 by a man named T.W. Burleson, who was actually struck by a car and killed across the street.
Oh.
So when Kim saw the house, she said she just fell in love with it. It was her dream. But, he wasn't crazy about the house, but he told her, quote, "If it's your dream, it will be my dream." And
so sweet.
I know. And she feels responsible for his death. She feels like because she feels like whatever's in the house killed him, she feels like if she hadn't insisted they move into the house, that he would still be alive.
Yeah.
And so Steve gives her a kerchief, and I wrote "Kerchief Steve to the rescue" because she started crying, which, obviously, like, her husband passed away just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And throughout the episode, he was the love of her life. Like, if you believe in soulmates, I think that they were soulmates.
Yeah.
Like, they were just,
Oh.
it was, I just feel so bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
She is so guilt-ridden about this. And I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So then we go into the library, and she said that was Angel's room, and his ashes are in the room. And so we see a picture of his ashes, which is in a very, very nice box and very cared for and very well, represented and well treated. Kim says they'll hear disembodied voices. She said they hear the sound of a little girl and then a woman screaming like a woman was being hurt. Kim said she actually called the police because she thought it was real, and the police came and searched the grounds. Yeah, that's how real sounding this was.
Yikes.
Which I've told you, I've done that in a house I lived in. I heard somebody walking upstairs. I called the police.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim said she's been pushed down the stairs. She said she was walking down the stairs. She said she felt two hands on her back push her, and then she fell. Yeah. So then we go into the master bedroom, and she said this is the room that Angel died in. And Kim's seen a shadow figure. She said it's very tall and very slim. And Steve says, well, how do you know it's not a person? And Kim says when it's a person, there are distinct features, and this is just total blackness. Mm-hmm. She said she's also had scratches on her hand. She was having a discussion with Angel, and she looked down, and there were 3 scratches on her hand. She said it felt like her hand was on fire. Ooh. And I wrote 3, eek, because we all know 3 scratches is never a good scratch number to have. I mean, no scratches are good, but I mean, when it's 3, it's usually not good.
Yeah.
She also said that Angel would wake up with bruises and bite marks. And Steve asked, well, could that be related to his treatment for the brain tumor? And she said, no, because this happened well before his diagnosis.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, here's the terrifying, the one that's really scary to me. She said that she woke up one night with Angel standing over her. So she was laying in bed and he was standing over her. And she said, it appears like he was possessed. And Steve said, well, what makes you say that? And she said, it just wasn't my husband. She said one of the things that she called him was Poppy.
One of the things I called him was Poppy. Okay. And he loved that. This person looked at me and said, essentially, if you call me Poppy one more time, I'll smack the hell out of you.
Jeez.
And she talked to him about it the next morning, and she said he didn't remember anything about that. And he wasn't boozing, Steve, or drinking or doing drugs. So, because Steve did ask that.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
It wouldn't be an episode if Steve didn't ask that.
No. Steve would be like, oh, yes, no, I'm not going to ask if you're boozing. And then somebody would be like, I'd honestly be offended. I'd be waiting for it. Yeah. And if he didn't ask me, I'd be like, Steven.
Aren't you going to ask me?
Aren't you going to ask me if I was boozing? I've rehearsed this to answer. So then we go to Gabrielle, Kim's daughter. Mm-hmm. And she's had experiences when she was living there. She said one night she was in bed and she said she felt something bad was laying next to her. She said it wasn't friendly and she felt like it wanted to hurt her. She said it was extremely terrifying. And Steve asked her if she was dreaming. She said, no, I wasn't dreaming. I was awake. And she said, one of the worst experiences. So then Steve said, well, what was the worst experience? And she said she was standing in front of the toilet and she said something pushed her like over the vanity, like just pushed her over.
Jeez.
She said it didn't feel human. Oh my God, I can't talk today. It didn't feel human. She said it almost felt like something went through her.
Oh.
To which, oofta. Oofta mai, in the words of my grandmother. She would say that all. Oofta mai.
What's the my for?
I don't know.
Like, was that like an oh my kind of like it was?
Well,
went together,
I think so. I don't know. My grandma thought she was Norwegian. And so I wonder if it's a Norwegian saying.
She thought she was Norwegian?
Well, yes. So somehow towards the end of her life, we found out she wasn't Norwegian. I don't know how we found that out. I don't know if anybody told her though, because she was so like, she had big Norway pictures in her house.
Oh
and
my gosh.
She thought she was like Norwegian. And so I don't think we wanted to break her heart. I don't know if we told her. So
interesting.
Maybe it's a Norwegian thing. I don't know. I'm American. I have no culture at all. So for all of our Norway listeners.
Yeah. I'm sure we have a lot.
I'm sure we do. It's probably right behind Ireland.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I don't want to forget. Remember we talked about how a listener gave us the name Puka?
Yes.
Yeah. So we figured this out afterwards. So the listeners don't know this yet.
And by we mean Amy.
Yeah. Well, I dug in to find out who made that comment.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize the name because it was like Spooka Puka or something like that.
Yeah.
Was the name of the IG handle. And so I messaged the person and I said, congratulations, you're the one that, we decided to use that name for the little guy. And then they wrote back to me and it was Eilish,
I know,
our patron from Ireland.
Our first international patron.
Yes. So I'm going to send her some stickers.
Yeah.
I just have to get the right postage. I'm getting some special stamps.
Special stamps.
Sticker. Yeah. Special stamps just send international.
Letters. I know. Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're totally fine. So then we get to Vernon, and this is when I had to stop because I got too scared. So Vernon says he's scared of the house.
Who's Vernon?
Vernon is her brother, Kim's brother. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You probably said it.
Who knows? I don't know. You know what? I might have thought it and then not said it.
And I interrupted you and that didn't help. So.
So Vernon says he won't even go to the bathroom alone. That's how scared he is of the house. Like he doesn't go anywhere alone. He said he'll go with his wife. And so Steve asks him about his own experiences. And he said he'll look outside and the front porch swing, which how quaint. They have a front porch swing. I want one so bad.
Yeah.
But I also need a front porch. So it's kind of a,
we used in our old house, we had a front porch and a swing and we never used it. I think I sat out there twice in 13 years.
Oh, my God. That would be so nice. Have you seen the meme where it's like, I want to be one of those old women sitting on a front porch swing, drinking my coffee in the rain, going, we needed this. That's me.
Yeah, with a swing on the front porch, just got to come outside and just swinging. The trees won't be swaying or nothing, be swinging like somebody sitting in.
And you didn't see no kids going by, maybe jerking around with
none of that.
Wow, so like really swinging, not just wiggling a little.
Like he said, it's really swinging.
Wow.
No, thank you. So the thing that he saw that's really scary, he said he saw a man, a dog, and a tree just disappear. And Steve was like, well, what the heck happened? Can you go into that? And he said 2 a.m. one morning, Vernon, he said he looked out the window and he saw those three, man, dog, and a tree. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. He said he looked again and they were just completely gone. What? So he said he's really worried about his sister staying there. And Steve asks if he would stay there alone. He said, no, I wouldn't stay there alone or with his wife. That's how afraid he is of this house. Yeah. So this is really neat. We talked to Tony and Sarah, the paranormal investigators that came in. Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
So Tony goes over his equipment. So he's got his digital recorder to record the EVP's electronic voice phenomenon. Then he's got a Mel meter, and he said that detects ambient temp as well as electromagnetic fields. And then the ghost box, which is I think it's that thing that makes that really creepy noise. Yep. And the spirits can communicate through that, like in real time. So like the digital recorder is the thing that you would like record, and you'd ask questions, and then you'd have to listen back.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost box, I think they're also known as spirit boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, you can communicate in real time with
Mm-hmm.
the ghosts and with spirits. So, Steve asked them, like, in your professional opinion, do you think there's something in this place? And they said yes. Sarah said she felt like something was watching you all the time. She said, like, the air might bite you.
Yes.
Yeah. And Sarah agrees that whatever is in the house caused Angel to get sick and die, which, Sarah, back off. Like,
we don't need to make Kim feel any worse than she already does.
Kim feels awful. Let's maybe not add on to that. Okay. Let's just kick back a bit. So now we're going to Sylvia Smith, the historian. And this is where we get background of the owner, T.W. Burleson, which we talked a little bit about at the beginning, where Kim had done her own research and was like, guys, T.W. Burleson, he got hit by a car, blah, 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 blah. So he was a farmer who came to this place in Texas in 1902, and he bought the property. He was married to somebody named May Ward, and they actually turned the property into a honey business. It was a very, very lucrative honey business. They built the house in 1915, and they did really well until 1925, when the factory on the property burned down. Yeah. $30,000 worth of damage in 1925, which around today is about $400,000 in damage. So
that's substantial.
It's a lot of damage for a honey farm.
Yeah.
I mean, for any farm, but honey farm, oofda. So they shut down for 3 months while they rebuilt. So then we kind of skipped ahead to the accident. So in 1944, T.W. Burleson was hit by a car, severely injured, but didn't die right away. He was actually in the hospital for 2 weeks before he died. And he died from brain swelling. He had a fractured skull. And according to his death certificate, it was brain swelling. He was 67 when he died. So he was not very old.
Okay, so hang on. Brain issues.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Angel had a brain tumor?
Had a brain tumor, yep.
Okay.
So then we go digging through the archives and we find Kenneth Doty. He hung himself in 1968 on Kim's property. And then at minute 1952, we get a ring shot.
Ring shot.
So then we talk to William Sonny Atkins, who was Kim's neighbor. He's Kim's neighbor, and he actually knew Kenny. He worked with him. So from what I understood, Sonny ran the factory when Kenny worked there. He was a really good kid, hard worker. He played football. He was very quiet. He hung himself on my birthday, 10/19/68. Granted, I wasn't alive then, but 10/19 is my birthday. Happy birthday, me.
We're going to have to do a big October.
We are. For sure.
Episode, because we both are October babies.
Yep, our birthdays, and then Halloween, and I feel like, I wonder if Amy's birthday is.
I was going to say, I think
Amy's is in October
too,
because I think she's a Libra with me, and you. Yep. Obviously, we're all Libras.
Yep.
That's why we get along so well.
I know, so cool.
So here's what I thought was super creepy is they're actually talking. Sonny and Steve are talking right where Kenny hung himself.
Oh.
Like Sonny is standing where Kenny hung himself, and Sonny's wife found him. So that's gotta be tough. So the death certificate ruled it a suicide. Kenny had just broken up with his girlfriend and he was depressed. And Steve said he had his whole life ahead of him and he threw it away over a girl. Yeah. Which, like, don't ever do anything over any romantic relationships. They're not worth it.
You might feel like it at the moment, but
yeah, you might feel like it. But I had a coach in high school who said suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that is true. So then we move to Professor Robin Cole Jett, and she is kind of like a Civil War expert. So they talk about there's an explosion on the property during the Civil War. And so Waxahachie and small Texas towns were very, very tense. They called it Texas Troubles. And essentially what it was a split between people in Texas and small towns who opposed secession for Civil War and people who supported it. So very much split down the middle for people who wanted to secede. Funny story, when I was growing up and I heard that they wanted to secede, I thought it literally meant like they were going to cut the state away
And let them float
like
into the ocean.
Float into the ocean and secede from. I didn't understand that they would remain where they were. They would not be part of us. That was good. So on April 29th, 1863, there was a gunpowder mill that exploded less than a mile from the property. And Professor Robbins said it was basically a seismic explosion, meaning like the walls of the house would shake. Like you would feel this explosion.
I bet.
800 pounds of gunpowder exploded. Holy cannoli. Yeah, that's a lot of gunpowder.
Yeah.
And 2 men died in the explosion, which when you think about how much gunpowder exploded, I know 2 men dying is nothing, that's still a major thing, but it could have been a lot more.
I was going to say that seems low, like a low body count for something that big.
Yeah. No arrests were made in this, but there are a couple of theories. One of the major theories is sabotage. So the person in charge of the mill at the time, David Natz, he thought that there might have been a Northern sympathizer who caused the explosion. He thought that there was either a Northern sympathizer or a stranger kind of lurking around the mill before the explosion, but nobody was ever found to have been lurking around the mill. And like I said, nobody was charged. And Robin thinks it was just an accident. She said David was 20 years old and in charge of this mill. I mean, that's just a kid.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
For a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So she doesn't think anything happened, like any nefarious activity. She thinks it was just an accident, so. Yeah. Then, so that's the end of that segment. And now we're going back to Amy. So her arrival, Amy immediately says, somebody doesn't want me here. She said she feels like she has to push through the energy and she feels like she's being pushed away, like something is really trying to get her to leave. Yeah. She said,
this is not a good situation. I'm getting violence.
So she said there's a living woman here who's suffering from depression. Amy said she feels a great loss. Something happened to someone they know. And she says this female feels suicidal. So she's not doing great. She sees a crazy old man, her words, not mine. She said he acts like an animal, like he'll be crawling on the ceiling, crawling on the walls. She said he jumped down, crawled on the floor, and then jumped back up on the ceiling, and he's grabbing Amy's hair, to which I say no to all of that. No to all of that. Ugh. No, thank you. Please don't jump on the ceiling.
And pull my hair.
Hard pass. She said the living people might feel their hair being pulled and their hair being tugged, that type of interaction. Then she went upstairs and she said she hears children, little kids, somebody screaming. She said a very piercing scream, and it's female. So remember, Kim heard that scream and she actually called the police.
Thinking it was real, people.
Thinking it was real, and they came out. So she's in the master bedroom, and Amy says,
this room has issues. There are a lot of dead in here, and they're walking through that mirror.
So Matt asks if the living would be in danger from the traffic, and Amy says yes. She said this place is extremely active. Amy said, I feel really bad, and she just kind of grabbed her head like she was trying to compose herself. Then we go into another bedroom. I'm not sure which one. I'm assuming it's the one that Gabby would stay in or that Gabby lived in. But she said something happened in here. She said she sees a male with a shotgun on his hip, dressed like a farmer. She said he's in here with this black mass, and they both have the capability of interacting with surroundings, and they are both able of harming the living physically. And Matt asks if Amy knows what they want, and Amy says,
I'm hearing the farmer say, I want my house back.
And at the end, Amy says that to Kim, and Kim says, well, he wants his house back. Well, he's not going to get it. To which I say, yes, Kim. So then we're in the kitchen, and she says there's lots of residual energy in the kitchen. She says it's overwhelming. Matt asks how the living would be affected. She said they would see things, they would hear a lot of things, and they said they might feel sick. She said Amy's getting very, very nauseous. Well, she said I am. She didn't say it in the third person. Amy is getting sick.
And
So
Leon's getting larger.
So one interesting thing that she said that I thought was interesting, which I just said that, so it's a little redundant. Spiritualism was practiced in the house from 1901 to the 1920s, which spiritualism was very, very big at the beginning of the 19th century. And she's worried that whoever was doing the spiritualism might have done something bad on accident. They might have conjured somebody or something on accident.
Mm-hmm.
She also saw paranormal investigators taking EVP and video.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting that she was able to see that. She said she heard a female saying, "Don't go into the darkness." And then she also said the spiritualism and the private investigators are scary because they don't always know what they're doing and they could be agitating the dead people. So it's kind of like when you play with a Ouija board, which you should never do.
No.
She said if they're agitating the dead people, the dead people could then in turn be hurting the living. So it's like a snowball effect, you know, like a spiritualism opens up something, dead people get agitated and they take that out on the living.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go outside and she says she hears the farmer again and she hears him say, "Don't go into the barn." She's getting like fire, a lot of flame. She said there are a couple of structures aren't here anymore that belonged to him. She thinks something bad happened to him. She gets the 1940s and she felt her neck break. And she says it's very, very bad energy. And it's trying to make her sick. I mean, this part of the walk was really hard for her because she was nauseous, shaky. She said it made her want to cry. Really. She was just getting very, very depressed.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we go back a little bit not back, but we go to a different entity, a young male, he's between 15 and 20. And so she was actually in his body. So she didn't get a look at him, but she feels a rope around her neck. She said somebody had the other side of the rope and it was looped over something. And whoever had the other side of the rope kept pulling the rope. So this guy that she's in his body kept going up and down by his neck.
Jeez.
Yeah. She said she heard a lot of people laughing. So there were more than one person here, but she said it was definitely a man doing the tugging.
So it sounds like a public hanging, like as opposed to a suicide.
Yeah. So they actually talk about it. And she said the person who is dying is basically reliving this over and over and over again. So yeah, that's kind of the end of that. Then we go to the sketch and she says the farmer is the one who concerns her the most. And so that's who she sketches. So then we get to the reveal and Kim's the only person there. So she's not there with Gabby or her brother or anybody. So the first entity that Amy talks about is the dead male, who's the 15 to 20-year-old who's stuck in the loop of his death. Amy thinks it was a murder and she thinks it was very recent. And that's when Steve talks about Kenny Doty, and Amy definitely thinks that it was him. Mm-hmm. And Kim brings up that her daughter has seen a teenage boy with dark hair.
Oh.
So if it was a murder, then it's unsolved because even the police
didn't see it.
They recorded it as a suicide.
Yeah.
So then we're upstairs in the bedroom to the far right, which is Gabrielle's room. And Amy said there were two entities that concerned her. One is the black mass. She said it can be physically violent. Anybody in that room would have negative experiences. So this is when Steve talks about how Gabby said she felt something lying next to her and that she was pushed. And Kim just starts crying because Gabby didn't tell Kim. Kim did not know about this. And so she just is overwhelmed with sadness, I would assume, and, guilt. And this poor woman, like, she has been through the ringer.
Yeah.
She's
not dealing with it well.
No, she's not. Oh, it's just so sad. I just feel so bad for Kim. Mm-hmm. And then this is when Kim tells Amy how she got pushed down the stairs. She felt the two-hand shover and she tumbled down the stairs. And Amy goes, "Wow." Yes, Amy, that is how I would react to. Wow. So then we talk about the farmer. He's in his 60s. She said on his hip he had a double barrel shotgun. She said he was going off about a fire outside, and Amy said she got that he died in the 40s. And so that's when, and Amy said she asked him what he wants, and he said, I just want my house back. And so that's when Steve talks about T.W. Burleson, and he put, he's so staged, but he has a picture of him, and he goes, is this who you think you saw, Amy? And she goes, well, I had a sketch done.
I love it when she does that.
I know.
Well, I had a sketch done.
Funny you should ask, Steve, because I had a sketch done. And Steve opens it up and he looks at me. It looks at me. Yeah, I wish. He looks at Amy and he goes, are you kidding me? It's like identical to this guy.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I'll have to I took a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
So that's when, so then we talk about how Amy saw people practicing spiritualism in the dining room. And then she said upstairs, she sees a male coming into the room, using an EMF reader, taking pictures. So Steve asks if, these paranormal investigators made things worse. And Amy said, no, I don't think that the paranormal investigators stirred anything up. She said, I think the spiritualists that is a hard word to say. Spiritualists may have done something in past that agitated the dead, to the point of hurting living people. So overall, she said she got a massive amount of depression and loss. She said there's a living person here who's female, not eating, and she said they feel suicidal. And that's when Kim said she feels like something in the house killed him. Mm-hmm. He died of a malignant brain tumor that was inoperable. And Kim just whispers, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, Kim, I just wanted, this is, I think, when I started crying. Yeah. I just wanted to reach through and hug her. It's okay. Like, Kim, oh my God.
Yeah, that's really heartbreaking.
She is dealing with so much. Angel was the love of her life, right. And now he's gone. Amy said she does feel a lot of random dead that are coming through the house. She said they come and go through the mirrors. She said some mirrors are openings for the dead to come and go through. She said she doesn't know why. She doesn't know, what makes them that way. But she said some of them are, and one of them is in the master bedroom. And essentially the dead are walking through the bed and through Kim constantly.
Oh my God.
And Kim says that after Angel passed away, she'll wake up with aches in her side, like she's being punched in her sleep.
Oh my God.
And Amy thinks that this is from the ghost just constantly walking through her. Jeez. In and out of that mirror.
I wonder if it would help to cover the mirror. Or move it, or would they just figure out another way to get through?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I think I don't know.
Anybody knows, let us know.
Yeah. Curious. Yeah. So the big question that they ask is, Steve asks Amy, do you think the house made him sick? And Amy said no. Okay. And then Kim says, oh my God, this is a clip.
At least he got a chance to love me before he died. So even though it was for a short time, it was worth it.
Oh. And then I just wrote, and I'm sobbing.
And sobbing.
And then I wrote, sobbing. Amy cried, I'm crying, everyone's crying. Amy cried, and Kim goes,
yeah. I made her cry. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It was a really tough. It was tough. Like even Amy had to turn away and wipe her. Like, yep. Oh my God. So then so we get to like what she needs to do. She said the first thing you need to do is take care of you. She said you need to see a psychotherapist who specializes in grief. And she said you need to go to a grief counseling group. And Kim's like, yeah, I probably do. She's like, I didn't realize I was so stuck in my grief. And girl. I don't even know how she's functioning with that much loss that she feels.
Right.
Oh, so that was tough. Yeah. So then in terms of the hauntings, she needs to move her bedroom ASAP. She needs to get out of there. She needs to remove both of the mirrors. She doesn't say move them. She says get them out. Yeah. And then she said a medium needs to come in and remove most of the dead, including the black mass and the farmer. And then Steve asks, can Gabby move in? And Amy said, I wouldn't have her move in right away. I would get this cleared.
Yeah.
Everything cleared out. So then the update is Kim followed all of Amy's advice. She is working through her grief. and the activity has stopped.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So this was Kim was such a beautiful person.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
And
she really was.
She just was, she just wanted some peace.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not she can get it now, at least it'll help her take a step in the right direction.
Yep.
And I hope she's dealing with her grief and as much as you can. I mean, right. People, not that I've suffered grief in this way at all, but I don't think you ever get over it. I think it's just something you learn to live with.
Yeah, I think so.
You learn to live your life, and you always miss that person.
Yeah.
So I hope Kim found happiness, because
I do too. That's one I would love to have an update on.
I would too.
I would love to know how
she was doing. Just a genuinely nice person, I think.
She was. And she was. I liked her so much.
I did too. I just cried. Like, it was hard. It was really, but it was a good episode.
Yep.
So
it was.
Oof,
all right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That was a good job.
Oh, hi there. This is Kate.
And I'm Dominic. And we are your hosts of Shitting Bricks, the podcast.
Every week, we'll bring you an episode of what makes people shit bricks. Is it a fear of death? Deep water? Running out of wine? Cannibalism? We take a warped look at these topics using examples from history that are the epitome of some scary shit.
You can find us on all the regular podcast streaming services like Apple, Spotify, and Google. For exclusive content, including behind-the-scenes nuggets, links to weekly topics, and maybe even merch in the future, head to Shitting Bricks Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. But for now, drop your dacks, pop a squat, and let's get into it.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to us.
We didn't drag you down. Should we tell a funny story or something?
On Thursday, I wore my underwear inside out and backwards all day.
Oh,
all day.
Your bra too?
No, not my bra, just my undies. And I put them on, and I'm like, God, these feel weird. Like, they were really high in the front and really low in the back.
High in the front?
I'm like, I was like, oh, it just must be a new style. And then I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm going to the bathroom, and I noticed that they're inside out. And then I'm like, oh my God, are these backwards? And sure as shit, they were backwards too. So if you're ever having a bad day, just remember you didn't wear your underwear inside out and backwards for a full day. Going, wow, my underwear feel weird. So
I went all day a couple years ago with my I was wearing these pants that were like leggings with a skirt attached to it.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
And I had it on backwards. I like you went to the bathroom at the end of the day, and the tag is in the front, and I'm like, oh,
you're like, huh,
interesting.
But were they inside out?
No,
see,
they were not inside out. They were just backwards.
Cute. That's funny.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody. Do you have the episode you're
facing the right way, guys?
Do you have the episode you're doing next?
Yes. Okay, so I will be presenting Shattered, which is season 8, episode 13. Ooh. And I chose it because I looked at our spreadsheet that we have that lists all the shows, and then I highlight the ones we've done and when we did them and who did them and all that.
You're so organized.
As I was paging through, I realized we had only done one episode from season 8. So
we don't want season 8 to feel left out.
I know.
Oh my God. Sorry, season 8.
So I just looked at, I was in Discovery and on my computer, and I just looked at all the little thumbnails of all the pictures for all the episodes. And the last one, season 13, was a really cool picture.
Okay.
Like it was creepy.
Yeah.
It was Amy and Matt outside near the car with the house behind them. And it was all, dark, of course. Middle of the night.
Yeah.
And fog and blue light.
Creepy.
It was just really creepy. And so I watched like the intro. And it looked really good.
Okay.
So, and it took place in New York. And, I love New York.
New York.
Although it's a tiny, tiny little town. I can't remember the name of it. Somethingville. But it's a little town of
Amityville.
No, it's not that one.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's a tiny town of like under 600 people.
I don't even think
500 some people.
That's in New York. I think Amityville is Massachusetts, isn't it?
I thought Amityville was in New York.
Now I got to Google it. Hang on.
Okay, Google it.
Amityville. I have no idea how to spell this.
Let's see if I wrote. I did not.
There's a Y some.
AMITY.
Oh, it is in New York. You're right. You're so smart. I just should never doubt you.
I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, so that's what I'll be doing next time.
Okay, that sounds good.
And yeah.
And now I won't have to watch the show at night in my basement.
Yeah.
Scaring myself.
I will.
But you're much braver than me.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. That's okay. I can admit it. I saw a meme today that it said at the end of horror movies, there needs to be bloopers so you can sleep after watching it. And I'm like, 100% yes.
Yeah. Do you remember podcast? I'm pretty sure that I introduced you to it when we were working together at the place that shall not be named. And it was called Judge and Jeremy.
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember
that.
the two? Mm-hmm. You don't remember it? Oh, it was two Southern guys. Mm-hmm. And one of them kind of sounded like Matthew McConaughey,
mm-hmm.
you know that.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And they would cover murder stories or mm-hmm. spooky things. Mm-hmm. And they would always end every episode with like a funny story or a joke or mm-hmm. something like that to kind of cleanse the palate.
Yeah,
because
we should do that.
Because it was so, their
dark.
Stuff was kind of gruesome sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll start doing that. So you can start next time.
Okay.
Dad joke or
I'll try
something.
And think of something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of dad jokes, I think.
Same.
My dad was pretty funny.
He was. Also, if you don't have any, just Google Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell telling each other dad jokes.
Oh,
here's one. What kind of detergent do mermaids wash their clothes in?
I don't know.
Tide.
Oh.
But
that was a little too easy.
I'm here all week, folks. Keep your wait staff. All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.